It is always good to have everyone here for Study Club. And tonight we're going to be talking about the basics of marketing your dental practice. And it's a topic that I think is very timely and extremely important because the promotion of your practice is going to determine the quality of new patients that you get in every month, as well as the number of new patients that you get. And anybody in dentistry knows we live and die by our new patients. So how I want to start the discussion, because I think it's worthy of a discussion on marketing, is how you do your marketing. And I think that's very, very important. Particularly what I want you to pay attention to is that when people are making a decision about a product or a service, they don't say this in their mind. You know, they don't make you know, a conscious decision that they're making here, but they think something in their mind. I got a little jumbled there because I'm really excited about this whole topic because marketing is important. But people make a distinction in their mind when they're considering a product or service. And even though they don't say, well, is that professional or is that retail, we know that they make this distinction by their behavior. And what I mean by that is if I was going to ask somebody to come over and, you know, unlock your car door if you were locked outside, or if they were going to muck out your gutters, you know, to unclog them or whatever. My point here is that we don't think that there's any difference. If somebody shows up and they can unlock your door, that's the person that you want for that job. Same thing, if the person shows up with a ladder, then you will go ahead and just let them, you know, unclog your gutters. And so that's the distinction that I'm trying to point out about a retail service. When you don't care who shows up, then in your mind, in the patient's mind, in the consumer's mind, that's what they're thinking of as a retail service, even though they don't exactly say that to themselves. We just know in their behavior because it doesn't bother them who shows up, just so long as somebody does. So the distinction I want to make to you is then when you get into more professional services, and that includes the services that we provide in dentistry, people start to change the way they do it. So, for instance, earlier I used the example of, you know, unlocking your car door or mucking out your gutters or something like that. But say, for instance, you're now looking for somebody to write your will, or you're looking for somebody to write your durable power of attorney. You're looking for somebody to invest your retirement funds. My sense is immediately your mind went to a whole different thought pattern because now instead of thinking, oh, I don't really care who shows up just so long as they can unlock my car door, when we were talking about what most people would consider a professional service, all of a sudden you start thinking like, well, wait, Larry, hang on a second here. I got to check this guy out, or I'm going to ask around. And that's the thought that I want you to keep in mind, is that even though people don't say this to themselves, oh, that's a professional service or that's a retail service, we know by their behavior they treat one service differently than another. And so my point to everybody who's listening tonight is that if we present ourselves like a retail service, then we're setting ourselves up to find patients who really don't care who you are or what you're about or your level of training or your experience or anything like that, because they're just coming to you because they might need to have something done. You want to present yourself in a way that people look at you like a professional service.
So if you think about it, there's actually 210,000 active practicing dentists in the United States. That's a lot of competition. And I'm sure we're all thinking, you know, there's 50 different states in the U.S., everybody is spread out, but even when you look at a little local market, I mean, just to give you an idea of a screen capture, this was just a random search for dentist in Seattle. And all that Google is showing right now, every single one of these dots is a dental practice in a small downtown area. And in reality, these are only the dots that are showing that are ranking in Google Maps anywhere on page 1 or so. So there's an incredible amount of competition that you really have to find a way to distinguish yourself to stand out, and that's what good messaging is all about. So if we think about it, in this difference between retail versus professional services, to the average consumer, they kind of think of a dentist as a dentist as a dentist. They don't know the difference between anybody's training. They don't know if someone is trained with Dawson or Pankey or LVI or any of these options, so they have no idea what your skill level is, so they need to have some differentiation in their marketing as to why they're going to choose you. So I want to give you some background as to what's motivating them. There was actually a survey done by Dr. Michael Abernathy a couple of years ago. This is one of my favorite surveys. It's got some great information. He owns a number of multi-location practices, and he managed to survey about 16,000 patients to ask them what was most influential in choosing their dentist. And here's exactly what they told him. So these were the top 10 answers. This is what patients said were their most motivating factors in their choice of a dentist. Get me in within 48 hours, so hopefully you guys are all block scheduling for your new patient appointments, that you have a warm and friendly team, highest standards of sterilization and cleanliness. Even though we don't have the big AIDS crisis of the 1980s, this is still a really critical feature for a lot of people in who they're choosing. The personal hygiene of the doctor and staff. So many of these things just seem obvious, and yet they're not being practiced by so many locations. They want an up-to-date office, and that doesn't have to mean that you renovate every 5 years. It can be as simple as just knowing that you're putting a fresh coat of paint on and making sure that the office carpeting gets cleaned. They want personal care. They want post-op calls and instructions from the doctor, not from the team. They're also judging you on the quality of your smile. I mean, you're selling dentistry. You need to represent what you're going to be giving to your patients. Convenience is still a really big factor for how people are making their selections. When you're a specialist, when you're specifically a periodontist or a prosthodontist and you're selling implants or certain kinds of cases, absolutely, people are willing to travel. But when you're a general family dentist, even if you have a wider range of services, that convenience is critical. They want you 4 to 5 miles from their home or office, and they need hours that are convenient to them, not just what's convenient to you. So that means every once in a while having a 7 a.m. appointment or going till a 6 p.m. appointment. These are your prime times, 7 to 10 in the morning and 3 to 6 in the evening. And what's really important to them is understanding what they're buying. They want to know what these treatment plans are and what their financial options are, not just explaining things in dental terms, but really putting it in something that they can understand, using photographs to show them, giving them a variety of financial options. But if you look at this list, you'll realize that the vast majority of these factors that patients told Dr. Abernathy were the most important in choosing a dentist, in reality are things they're not really going to get to know until they're in your office. So we have to do other things to really differentiate and get them to choose you. And the first thing that has to be done for all of this is to get you found. And there's 2 types of marketing that we practice. There's passive marketing, which is inbound marketing, and then there's active marketing, which is outbound marketing. Now, outbound is what we were all traditionally used to. Advertising, television, radio, outdoor, print advertising, direct mail, pay-per-click, both search ads and Google display ads, even your social media boosting. Those last two might be a little more recent, but they're still active marketing, and that is still critical. Passive marketing is a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is your reputation, your search engine optimization, your reviews, social media posting, things that are more when someone is starting to look for a dentist that they happen across you. So all of these things are still critical, but what the thing is that they all have in common is that pretty much every single one of these sources right now are pushing people to your website. You can send a great direct mailer. You can do an incredible television commercial. I do these all the time, and people want to take that next step. They're looking for information. So the first thing they do is they go to your website. So let's talk about what makes for a really strong website. Now, on a website, you basically have 15 seconds. Within 15 seconds, 55% of your traffic is going to bounce. Bounce means they have been on your site for less than a minute. They have only visited one page, and frankly, most of those are on there for only that 15 seconds because so many dental websites are not doing these things. It's not crystal clear what you do. even though someone did a search for a dentist in your community, and you would think that when they're clicking on the link, it's obvious they're going to a dental practice. If you aren't putting it right in front of their face, they're not completely sure what that is that you do. You have to telegraph it to them. You have to know your target audience. You wouldn't want to be selling dental implants and have your homepage image be of a 20-year-old blonde. She's not necessarily the target who's going to be appropriate for what you're selling. Once you know that information, then you can work with AllStar to get trained so that you can capture and convert more of these leads. So, Alex, I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
Perfect. Very, very nice. And thanks for the nice, kind words about AllStar. All right, let's turn it over to Adam at Firegang.
So I want to kind of discuss taking things a little further. And what I mean is that it's good to be out there, but we need to differentiate and convert. So I want to talk kind of a little bit about what's working now and just kind of hit it at a high level. Plus, I want to give you guys an offer at the end of this as well. So we believe that there's a new patient buying cycle, if you will. There's this common practice or this common route that consumers take to find your practice, and they have to kind of go through these conversional barriers, if you will. So they start, for example, on the left here, where you've got someone that's searching for a new dentist. Statistically, most people, when they're looking for a local product or service, are going to go online. They're likely to going to go to Google. So we have to convert them when they get to this point. I'll show you what I mean there. And then when they get to the website, we then have to convert them again, meaning that that website's got to have those elements that they like and trust and whatnot. Then they have to call your office, and then your staff has to convert them there for them to finally show up. So what does this look like? The first conversion is basically, are you listed on Google? Are you near the top? Do you have reviews? Are they good reviews? Do you have any offers or anything that differentiates you? Are you guys open right now? And so on. The next thing, though, is let's say that you do all these great things. You're showing up on Google. You get people to your website. Do they like your website? Do you look like a real legitimate business with real photos of you and your staff? Do you answer the questions that I have as a consumer? Is there any reason that I should call you versus the guy down the street? Does your website work on my phone? So those are all conversional questions or conversional elements. And the last part of this is, do you answer your phones? Does your front staff know what to say to get me in the door? Are they polite? And so on. So there's conversions that take place at each one of these steps. Today, however, I came in basically prepared to really discuss this first part of it. And we work with clients on all of these areas and partner with AllStar on some of them. But for all intents and purposes, today's presentation is really on this first section here, which is getting on Google, how to differentiate yourself, looking at some ways that you can do that, and so on. So the first thing is search engines. 70% of people go to Google and looking for a local business, and that's been widely studied. Here's a reference point down here for that if you needed it. So here's another just kind of a quick breakdown. This is something we do for clients coming on board, is we look at their market size and try to run the data into statistical representations of who is going online looking for a new dentist each month. And I've got, again, some more reference points. But basically what we're looking to do is figure out how many people in America see a new dentist each year, where those people go, where they click, and so on. And if you looked at a market like Austin, for example, you'd see that there's about 2,268 people looking online for a new dentist each month, okay? So last year, this is how Google looked. And what you saw is that there were ads at the top, there were ads on the right, then you had these map listings and so on. And historically, people have always just kind of clicked at the top of the list and gone down. So what has Google done? They've actually put those paid ads right at the top. You can see that the ads on the right are completely gone now on Google. And then you've got your maps listings, which you see here, those local business listings, and then you have your organic search. Okay, so Google's really front-loading the areas that they want to attract. And I'll get into the paid ads in a minute, but when we look at this section here on the maps section, we want to know, what's going to cause people to click on this ad? What's going to cause Google to want to show this position or this website or this business? And so when you break it down, you see things like, are you open? Do you have reviews? How do you rank, of course, but there's certainly a lot less results. when you compare it to another market, this is just outside of Austin, the Speed Cave, you see practices that don't have any reviews or a review rating, and then you've got someone that's got 45 and someone that's got 15. That's going to make someone's initial decision as to who they click on and what practice they dive deeper into researching. So again, we're looking to convert. The other things that we're looking at is these signals that Google's looking for on how to get here. So are people typing in your name? Is your profile online consistent? And I'll show you guys how to check. Are people engaging with your profile, meaning that when they click to your website, are they staying there? When they look at your profile, are they engaging in it? Do they click the directions? Do they read your reviews? Are you open right now? Things like that are going to determine that. So Google's looking at click-through rates and what people are clicking on, and that's helping to affect rankings. So when you have a lot of positive reviews, that's going to be an important thing to Google as well as consumers. So some examples of some bad signals to Google would be like if your online presence was confusing or weak, you had inconsistent business data. Maybe you moved from another location, or you had a different business name in the past, or you've changed something in terms of your business data, and that's still out on the web. Poorly optimized profiles, so you have a Google listing, you have a Yelp listing, you have all these different profiles out there. Are they optimized? Do they have your information? If patients don't like your website, meaning that they're clicking to your website and hitting the back button, that's an indication to Google that that's not as good of a result. Bad, low number of, or no reviews. This was just discussed. That's a huge signal to Google and to consumers, and that creates engagement. And then the site's not mobile optimized, and that's a huge thing, as we've just heard, that needs to be addressed. So what are some signals that are some strong present signals that we can look at? How can we go about checking that? If you go to Google and you search Moz local tool, you can actually type in your business data, your business name, zip code, potentially phone number, and what this tool will do is it'll actually tell you how consistent your data is across the web. And this is one of the biggest factors as to whether or not Google's going to show you guys within those map listings. And so this is something we tell people to go out and check themselves if they want, if they're interested in learning more, or just to see how they stack up. Again, just type in Moz local tool. The other thing, and we keep coming back to this, is these reviews, and we keep hitting on them. If you don't have reviews and your competitors do, they're going to make decisions. But furthermore, it's becoming less about placement, because there's only 3 listings here, and it's more about who's got the most reviews and what are the quality of those reviews. So in this example, everyone's got really good reviews and a good amount, but if we had somebody at the top here that's got 50 reviews and these guys both have, let's say, 20 and 10, the chances are they're going to click on this person.